Peace, family. Will Roundtree here, your founder and CEO of We Management Services, two-time author of the books Credit is King and full-time CEO, The Shit They Don't Tell You. But more importantly, we're here today on the Wealth Files, and I'm actually sitting here with a very special guest. I say every guest is actually special. But more importantly, we're going to have a lot of fun today. I'm actually here with world-renowned DJ Hue Holla.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In the flesh, man. That's me. Rockstar DJs, Hot 97.5 FM out of Las Vegas.
Definitely.
Entrepreneur, family man, everything under the sun,
Absolutely. No,
Sir.
First of all, I want to say thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule. I know you crisscrossing the country, a lot of good stuff going on, even just in the music industry.
Yes, sir.
But more importantly, I want to talk to you about, how you got started and all of that. But just briefly, something that caught my attention. Not only are you a rock star DJ, but you're an entrepreneur.
Yes, sir.
I tell a lot of people, no matter what industry you're in, not no matter what industry you're in, but being in the music industry, you are an entrepreneur.
Right.
A lot of DJs do not look at themselves as entrepreneurs.
No, you absolutely have to look at yourself as an entrepreneur because nobody else is going to take care of you but yourself. When you're out there working, grinding every day, you have to treat yourself as a business. And DJs typically aren't even employees, so I'm not sure how anybody could even not consider themselves an entrepreneur because we're all 1099 employees everywhere we go. We don't.
You don't book no gigs, you don't eat.
Yeah. And if you're not out there marketing yourself, out there grinding, out there shaking your hands, taking late night shots of Patron with people that you don't really necessarily care about.
So Patron is part of the job description.
Yeah. Patron is definitely
DJ.
part, and I hate Patron, by the way. I've taken way more shots of Patron than I prefer.
Definitely.
But that's all it is. You have to treat yourself as a business. You got to market yourself. You got to constantly put yourself out there. If you're not doing that, nobody's going to pay you any attention. You could be just as easily forgotten about as your favorite celebrity, they might be popping this week, but if you can hear from them for like 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, you probably not even thinking about them.
Correct.
If you are, you are wondering what happened, but you still living your life.
Definitely.
Then what you got to do, it's just that if you're not constantly creating content, constantly not, marketing yourself, it's gonna fail just like any other business.
Absolutely. So let's so this episode is about running the numbers.
Yes.
And you said some very important points that's going to touch on that. But before we go into the meat and potato, the thick of a lot of that and your business endeavors and all that good stuff, because your resume is pretty solid. You got a lot of good stuff going on. We got to let the people know. But how'd you get started? Being a DJ and even just being an entrepreneur.
As far as being a DJ, man, I always got to credit my guy. He's out of Vegas also, man, DJ K Player. It started in college, actually. If you can't tell, I'm originally from New York.
Okay.
Went to school out here, started at UNLV for college.
How was that culture shock coming from New York to the West Coast?
Huge different, man. It was what's funny? One of the first things that I noticed is that I had an accent. I had no idea that I had an accent until I left the city.
Right.
I thought everybody else spoke funny, right? So that was one thing because everybody is within our first conversation. Yo, where you from? You from New York, right? It's like, man, how could everybody tell?
Right.
Everybody's psychic. Anyway, so. It was a big culture shock, but
Definitely.
I can adapt to any situation regardless of where I am.
Okay.
There's different parts in New York also that you can travel around where you got all kinds of different people. That city's a melting pot on itself, But when I first came out here, I went to college, UNLV, and I remember, going back to K Player, I didn't know him at first, but when I first saw him, I was wondering who this guy is. Just so happened in the dorms, he lived on the same floor as I did. So I'm hearing, music that's catching my attention through the hallway. So, it's almost like a moth to a flame. I'm just kind of like following the sounds of the music. And this guy on a first day that the campus is open, he's got an entire DJ setup in his dorm. Most people got, like a little IKEA furniture. They got their bed. He cleared everything out the way and to make room for his DJ equipment, and that's kind of how we connected.
DJ serious about their equipment.
Oh yeah, they're serious. And keep in mind, we're talking, this is back in like the year 2000, 2001-ish,
Correct.
you know? So this was before Serato, any of the digital platforms. So, I mean, not only do you need space for your DJ equipment,
speakers,
you're talking about records,
right.
you know, like
all that.
Lots of crates just stacked up all over the place. So, you know, I mean, that's kind of what sparked my interest to begin with, because you know, I mean, I was always interested in music,
correct.
You know, and it kind of just was the natural progression to get into DJing from there. So, you know, he let me touch the tables a few times. You know, I fell in love with DJing. Before you know it,
Definitely.
I'm buying all my own equipment, you know, like calling him over like, yo, come show me how to work this.
It's interesting because that's something I've always wanted to get into. I just never got the direction to get into DJing because I love music.
No, absolutely. And usually for people who love music, you know, it's something that as soon as you get started, you're not going to want to stop.
Right.
Because now you can, every song that you can imagine, every mix that you put together in your head, you can actually create it and make it happen.
Right.
You can record it while you do it, then play it again later.
Correct.
You can play it in your car. You can make mixes for friends, family, make a mix for your mom on Valentine's Day or something. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's definitely one of those things that... You don't do it for the money, you know. It's a hobby. It becomes a passion. You do it for the love of music. I still DJ, you know, to this day consistently for the love of the music. Definitely. You know, I love getting behind the turntables, just getting the opportunity to just be creative, do your own thing. Because I mean, there's limited songs out there. That's true, especially songs that are popular at the time. But what makes your DJing unique is how you blend it. You know, how creative can you be? How can you, take, a certain set of words and make it your own and use that to transition into the next song. Like, are you paying attention to the artist that you're playing?
Right.
Like, are you going to play Meek Mill and play Drake right after? Because people know the controversy.
Definitely.
I mean, those type of things
matter.
You have to, kind of think about. And that comes with actually knowing music, not just beat matching and playing next song.
That blending is important. I've been out, and if I hear a DJ can't blend properly, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
That's one-on-one. That's the first thing you
definitely
learn.
Got to know how to blend. So,
for sure.
DJ Hue Holla, how'd you get the name? Because a lot of times, even just like being a rapper, or MC, or whatever, being a DJ, that people take ownership in that name. How did you come up with the name?
Right, and the funny thing is, you sit around for a long time trying to come up with a name.
Up with one.
Like what's gonna work? I mean, I'm not even gonna go through the names that I thought about first. I mean, because I'm glad I didn't pick any of those. But Hue Holla was always like a nickname that once again going back to my UNLV days, that everybody just called me on campus. I mean, it was just like a moniker. Like I walking around campus and somebody random, you don't even necessarily have to be a close friend of mine. It's just kind of what I went by back then, So when it came down to coming up with a DJ name, I'm going through all these listed names, and then they was like, yo, why don't you just stay with Hue Holla?
Right, and just kind of stuck.
Everybody already know me by that, so I might as well just stick with it and just kind of own it, just let it ride. And I thought actually, a bonus effect of that would be that it would be unique enough to where no one else would ever have that name. Correct. And then so if you Google search or anything, it'll pop right up versus, 1,000 other, DJ Spade or whatever it might be, So, but there's actually a DJ in the Bay called DJ H Holla.
Oh, okay, so close.
Hey, shout out to him because I watch him sometimes too, and he does his thing also, So, but it's between me and him, man, if you look it up,
I got it locked.
Kind of works out.
Definitely,
for sure.
So I actually have a confession.
All right.
Back in the day, when I figured I couldn't afford DJ equipment, I tried to rap. And so, just like how you was trying to come up with a DJ name, I was trying to come up with an MC name. My MC name was Mercenary. Because I thought I was murdering the track, but clearly that didn't work out because I'm not rapping. So that career didn't last
Mercenaries
long.
are the guys who go like hired gunners, right? That goes out in the battlefield, not necessarily in the military.
And I was not a specialist on the mic.
Okay.
Not that mic, maybe this one.
Did you come up with a new name after that?
Nah, I just packed it up. I just packed it up,
Have you spit a hot 16, man,
Definitely. Now I'm going to work on that. So.
Cameras are rolling, let's hear it.
But I left that life and transitioned.
Hey, I don't blame you, man. I mean, a lot of people in one way or other, touch the music industry. You got to try different things to figure out what works for you.
Definitely.
I mean, Hey, I tried rapping for about a week myself, you know.
I think we all have, you know.
You think rapping is so easy until
It is not.
you put it down in that Mead book, you know, that
man.
black and white book. You try to write your rhymes, and I mean, yeah, it sounded like straight nursery rhymes. I had to throw that one away.
Right. So
Bury
speaking
that
of trying things, business, being an entrepreneur,
for sure.
you know, what transitioned you to not only just taking DJing, but also being an entrepreneur outside of being a DJ? Like, how did that transition happen for you?
I don't think it necessarily transitions. I think
Okay.
it's just you either do it or you don't. You know, I feel like entrepreneurship is more of a spirit, and it's kind of in you.
Definitely.
You know, it's either in you or it's not. You know, and for me, it's always been. I guess it's kind of what started me off with DJing. Also, just a burning desire to do something more. You know, and it's never necessarily about like, okay, I got to get to the money. I got to, you know, figure something out. It's trying to chase this spirit that's within.
Correct.
And figure out what's going to kind of scratch that itch for you, you know? And for me, I knew it's something in entrepreneurship, you know, and I wasn't sure exactly what. And to this day, I can't say that I know exactly what it is because that spirit is 100%
Definitely.
still in me.
Definitely.
I'm talking to the point where I can't sleep at night because I feel like I need to wake up and I need to be doing something. You know, I go to sleep late, like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, sitting behind the computer until I'm literally falling asleep behind the keyboard.
Right.
I'm sure you probably experienced
Many
similar
nights.
things, right? You know, I've got my little drink right here on the side,
Right.
keyboard here, falling asleep
For
like
real.
right? And then same thing in the morning time. You know, I wake up in the morning time and, you know, I know it's not exactly the most mentally healthy thing to do, but I pick up my phone and I'm looking at emails and I'm responding or I'm engaging on social media, something like that. And I think part of that is just a desire to succeed. You know, I mean, regardless of what it is, I feel like whatever it is that I do, I want to try to be the best at it. You know, I mean, it's a kind of like a mental competition, you know, but, you know, a friendly one at that, you know, but same time, I'm just trying to, you know, see what's going to work for me. So as far as what I'm doing now, I got a moving company that I just launched recently. I say launched recently because it's been a business. It's been a registered business for almost 2 years now. Come February, it'll be 2 years. But there's a process involved. That's what people, you know, don't really see. You know, what they see was the end product, which was me actually launching the company, which happened just a couple months ago.
Okay.
You know.
So let's hold that point. You said something that stuck out to me. Registered the business.
Right.
A lot of times people don't really understand that you're really not a business yet until you've registered the business. Why was that important for you to make sure that you did that? Because I talk to a lot of people who just want to be a sole proprietor, but they don't actually register the business. How did you get to that point to where you say, you know what, these are the steps I now have to do?
So, wow, to me, that's like a no-brainer. You know, it's like liability purposes. You know, I don't want to be a sole proprietor because of the industry that I'm working in. And I don't want anything to come back to me personally and affect my finances. You know, anyone to be able to sue me for my house or my cars or for what's in my bank account. You know, so I started an LLC, you know, because I wanted the business to be its own entity.
100%.
I didn't want it to be me. I want it to be itself, you know, so it's got its own EIN number.
It's its own
everything
person.
else. It's its own person,
Absolutely.
right? So there's me and there's my company called Skyline Moving Service LLC.
Correct.
You know, so Skyline Moving Service is not me. It's got its own bank account. It's got its own email address. It's got its own everything else, you know? And then so for liability purposes, like, yeah, absolutely. You go and register your business and you're not in business. To me, I don't believe it starts when you register your business because, I mean, that's
Anybody
a half
could
a
do
day's
that.
work.
Right.
You know, I mean.
My 9-year-old could do that.
Literally, you know.
Like, for real.
Right, you know. I mean, a lot of people use LegalZoom. I'm like, you know, you paid $200 for nothing for them. You could have gave it to me. I'd have done it for $50. Would have got me some red lobster or something afterwards, right? You know, but yeah, you just walk into the Secretary of State office, you know, you pick a name as long as the name is available.
Correct.
And it doesn't cause a conflict or interest or, you know, the state that you're registering it can exist in another state as long as in your state that name is available, you know. I'm talking 15 minutes later,
Definitely.
they'll send you an email saying, confirmed, you're good to go. And that's the steps of registering the business. So to me, you're not a business until you're actually doing something with that.
100%.
It's like, so what,
you just have
what does this business
paperwork.
do? Yeah, right now you have paperwork saying that you own this name. It's like buying a domain name on GoDaddy or something. You own it, but it's not a website until you actually build it, right? And then so with business, I feel it's the same concept. You actually have to put something behind it, not just own the name. Then, I mean, there's way too many CEOs out there right now. And
so we're going to talk about that. So the business and the registering. Now, the reason I wanted to point that out is because I think it was easy for us and we understood that that's the process. But then I also have to be, conscious and understanding that what is common sense to us is not common sense to everyone else.
Right.
And so that's why when I'm speaking with newer and up and coming entrepreneurs, I'm always, trying to be mindful of letting them know that there is a difference of being a sole proprietor and actually registering a business. Or you're not technically a business until you actually start doing something with the business.
Right.
Is that something you learned, you picked up? Did you have a mentor?
Man, sometimes in life you don't even know where you pick stuff up from. I think it generally just comes from experience. I mean, trust me, this isn't the first business that I started. It's not like I just walked out the gate and, had things figured out.
So you failed before?
I failed several times. I mean,
it's part of the journey.
If you look up my name, there's all kinds of LLCs back there that, amounts to nothing. I was like, man, I forgot that ever even existed. How do we delete this off the records, please?
But no, I wanted to bring that up because I think people don't understand that's part of the journey. The beautiful part of the journey. You will fail.
Right.
And so what was one of your first businesses that maybe did make it off the ground?
Well, I tried to start a modeling company with a friend one time, and all we had was an LLC and, a disclaimer paperwork for you to sign.
Right.
Right. And this was back in the HTML days, trying to build a website, and, he had a photographer and, it's like, but we didn't really have a structure. We didn't really have a plan.
Right.
We were just like, hey, we want to start a business. All right, let's go start one.
How did modeling agency, how did that come about?
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't even my idea originally. I was just down. I was like, okay, I'm with that.
Right.
Let's do what we got to do to make it happen. But to me, actually, I could take it back even further than that. I've got businesses from, shout out to everybody from UNLV if that remember DT2. That was a recording company that we tried to start in the dorms, by the way. Had the DJ down the hall. I had the recording studio inside my dorm room with all the recording equipment and the microphone stands and all of that. Man, we had the T-shirts. So, once you get the T-shirts, you feel like you're official, right?
You're official
we got
with the T-shirts, right?
Yeah, so, so we came a long way. So, I mean, it was always those kind of things that, you take a little bit of information from here and there, and you just start kind of compiling it together to where you, at a certain point, you'll know what you have to do to get to where it is that you want to be.
Correct.
And even with my business now, I have so much to learn, and it almost scares me the amount of stuff that I don't know yet because, like they say, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
And so from my experience from my past businesses, I know even though I feel like I've got a few things together now, my experience tells me that there's a lot that I don't know yet that I'm going to have to learn. And I always try to avoid learning them the hard way.
Correct.
So, I like to have a lot of conversations with, other entrepreneurs and, people within the same industry, or just whoever I can reach out to that, I can, even if they're just telling me a bunch of stuff that I already know, it's just good to get
just
that
still
reinforcement.
Listening. Absolutely.
Right. And then so, it kind of scares me in a way, the lessons that's to be learned that I haven't really quite caught up on yet. So, but that's part of the process, right?
Definitely.
I mean, that's the only way to learn is you just have to go through it. Just hold your nose and take that dive. And,
right.
Just...
And so you said something that's interesting. And you say a lot of interesting things. Good thing we're recording this. So you said that, you know that you still have a lot to learn.
Yes.
And as accomplished as you are, you traveled the world, I'm sure you've shaken a lot of hands of a lot of, people in the industry and all of this, but you still are coachable enough to understand there's still some things that I need to learn. How important is that how important to you is it to be coachable, in the space of being an entrepreneur and all of that? Why is that important to you?
Man, I mean, I like to listen a lot more than I talk, believe it or not. But, I feel just being able to just go into a meeting and sit there with open ears and just try to catch on to any nugget of information that you can get from anybody. I mean, that's everything. They say, you must be dead once you stop learning, so you have to constantly just keep your ears open and be willing to just listen to other people.
Right.
If they have something to say, you never know. Even if you feel like you might not get anything from it, you might be surprised to find out that you will.
Definitely.
Or it might spark an idea in your head, that will actually help you out with something that you was previously thinking about. And so to me, I feel as long as you're willing to listen, you never know who you run into. You never know, what might come from the conversation. So to me, that's everything, not just in entrepreneurship, just in life.
Absolutely.
General, have something to tell me, I'm all ears.
Right.
Let's have a conversation.
Right. And I think that's also part of, from the industry you're in, of being a DJ, you have to have a good ear anyway.
Literally.
Like you talked about, you got to know, when the break of the record and where the perfect blend is coming in, or even just being able to be intuitive enough to know, the culture of the landscape of the industry. If there's a good rap beef, do you play the two artists that are beefing back to back? So being able to just even listen for those type of things, they always say having a DJ's ear. I've heard that term before. And so, I think that's important.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that, and then so, like you said, just try to keep an open ear, try to pay attention, listen to what anybody has to say.
Correct.
Oftentimes you'll find you can throw away like 95% of it.
Absolutely.
But that 5% is what matters. That's the meat right there. You got to cut through everything else to get to that.
100%. So let's talk about, in relation to, some of the things that you've endured on your journey of being an entrepreneur. And, earlier, before we actually went live, you and I were just talking offline about the unglamorized side of business. I don't think enough people truly understand that you're going to go through some shit,
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about, and I don't really like to call them failures. I like to call them experiences. I just think about oftentimes some of the things that I've went through. Like one of my first real true investments in a company, I bought into a franchise. Pulled some money from my 401k, took out some personal loans, went and leased a building, signed a 5-year lease, and I didn't even make it a year.
You was all in.
I was all in. I mean, I think I had my dog pond, I put everything up.
Man,
and it did not go well. But
that's a hard road to recover from.
It's very, because mind you, I was, I pulled money from my 401k. This is money I've been saving for years.
Right.
But, after all of that went down and, the business didn't do well, I still bounced back. Now I was a little tight for a minute, because I signed a 5-year lease. I'm taking out money. I'm taking out loans and all of that. But I looked at it as an experience. And so I think that a lot of times we go into something and most may not even get to that point, and they may have a failure or what they think is a failure, and it's hard for them to bounce back.
Right.
Talk about some of the things that, why you've been so resilient. Because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, even being in the music industry, it's not all glitz and glamour either. Can you, just talk about some of those experiences that you've had that's kind of shaped you and gotten you to where you are today?
Man, I'm just blessed, man. Honestly,
Absolutely.
That's what it comes down to. It's all God, because at a certain point, I learned to just trust in Him.
Definitely.
And that He's going to pave the way. Even when I see all the roadblocks ahead of me, I just keep marching forward, just because I know by the time I get there, it's all going to be cleared out, and that's a lesson that I learned just getting my college degree. I got an electrical engineering degree from UNLV, and outside of biology, that was supposedly the second hardest degree to get. So imagine me, I'm like the only black dude in my class, at least the ones that actually being resilient and doing his work and passing classes, you know, and, you know, just sitting there and, you know, you got all these things due at the same time, or, you know, you got a big test and you know that you're not prepared for it. I would show up to the class on that test day and class is canceled. The teacher's sick. I'm like, yo, look at God, man. You know? And I feel like that's kind of been the story of my life, honestly. And so, I mean, going to an entrepreneurship kind of idea, it's always kind of been more of the same. And then so with my latest business, Skyline Moving Service, it's oh man, this is probably the hardest thing that I've done as far as trying to start a business. Everything else, yeah, you learn lessons, you learn, you know, about, like, let's say, like, certain people that you can go into business with, or who you can. You learn hard lessons about money, like what you were saying, you know, and how to just kind of move better, move more strategically, you know, and you kind of take all these things that you learn, all these lessons, and you put them all together, and it's like, okay, I'm going to apply that to my next business. Naturally so, right? So the lessons that you learn with, you know, pulling money out your 401 and, you know, just throwing your life into, you know, just this one idea. I'm sure there's things that you learn from that, which your next business idea, you was able to apply those lessons along with any previous lessons. And so, I mean, that's kind of the concept. And so I'd say with Skyline Moving Service, it didn't turn into the hard lessons that I learned. It came into all the obstacles ahead of me, you know? So it's kind of like the reverse of, you know, it's just things that you can't foresee, right? Definitely. And so a lot of that for me was just the regulation boards. When you start having to dealing with, you know, regulations and compliances.
Very tedious.
Lord have mercy. Like, you gotta have patience, you know? And that's probably the lesson that I learned from this process, is to have patience. You can't force things, because when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. You know, I hate things holding me up. I hate people holding me up. You know, that's part of why I started the business myself, because my company, I'm 100% owner. Nobody else is involved with it, just because I don't want to have to rely on other people in order to make progress, you know? And then so that's kind of what the regulation board was. You know, every time you feel like, you know, I'm a week, I'm maybe 2 weeks away.
Something else happened. No, I mean, I get it. But that's part of life. And what's so interesting about what you just said with that, patience.
Yeah.
That is probably one of the hardest things for people to have in relation to business, because, you know, I think so often we see the glamorized side of business. You know, hey, you know, DJ Hue Holla, he's made it. I want to get there. But they don't see the 15 years you've been working up to that point. And so they want to compare their chapter 1 to your chapter 15. Because of that patience level. So, you know, how do you have discernment to deal with, you know, patience, and not even just in business, but with everything that you have to endure?
I don't. I'm an impatient guy. I still am. You know? I mean, that's something that I'm still struggling with, you know? I mean, because I want people to be on board. It's like, come on, like, let's get things going. You know, I'm calling people like that are out of town, like, yo, when you coming back? Yo, we got to meet up. You know, and you know, everything comes at the right time, and that's, you know, something that I'm learning to deal with, and, you know, just.
So you don't have to be perfect to be successful.
They say you only make mistakes when you aim for perfection, right? You know, and I'm learning not to hold myself to that standard to where I have to be perfect and everything has to go exactly right. You know, I come up sometimes with these master plans, like, if executed correctly, this thing is gonna work perfectly, you know?
And it never works like that, ever.
Just coming down here to be able to make this interview, right? You know, so my babysitter got sick. You know, I didn't find out until I woke up this morning, and I got to come meet up with you early. You know, so you got to start calling audibles, and it's like, yo, you just throwing a wrench. You know, that's life, though, right?
That's life.
You know, so you have to just kind of take the good with the bad. You know, one thing I do try to live by, you know, one of my mottos is always have a plan B. You know, so I feel when you always have a plan B, you're never pigeonholed in any situation. You know, so let's say if something that you're hoping for, or let's say you have a bad boss at work or something, and he's coming at you incorrectly, you know, you don't have to put up with the things that you don't want to if you have a plan
100%.
B.
100%.
You know, but if you put all your chips in on this one bet,
You stuck.
you better play ball.
You stuck.
Right?
Right.
And so always have a plan B, a backup plan, and that's gonna help get you out of most situations. That's gonna help reduce stress. You know, ask yourself the what ifs. That's a lesson to learn right there. You know, if A happens, what are we gonna do here about B? You
Correct.
know, like, do we have a B? You know, and so I mean that's been that concept has been greatly effective in kind of helping me get through a lot of things, you know. But, you know, like I said, when it comes to you know, trying to get past obstacles, there's certain things that you just can't foresee.
Right.
You know, so you don't necessarily have a B because you didn't know that A existed.
Right. But then it's about how you handle it. And I think that's what a lot of times people don't know how to do. You know, you get that rejection because you put all your eggs in this one basket and it doesn't go the way that you thought it was going to go because life doesn't even go the way we think it's going to go.
Right,
I mean, I would have never thought I never saw myself living in Las Vegas 20 years ago.
Right.
You know, I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You know, graduated high school, moved back to Milwaukee, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be working at this job for the rest of my life. The company shuts down 8 years into me working there. You know, so you just never know where you're going to end up. And like you say, by having those plan Bs. And so when I did move to Las Vegas, working my 9 to 5, my plan B was focusing on my business, but I was focusing on that while I was at my job. And I think that's something that a lot of us don't do. We think it has to be all or nothing.
Right.
You know, and so no, I like how you pointed that out.
I definitely believe in having multiple sources of income.
Oh, you have to.
I mean,
even as an entrepreneur, you have to.
The more income streams you have, the better off you'll be and the less you have to worry. So as soon as something starts slowing down, you can kind of remove some of your energy from that and focus on something else and start building that up. So if you lose your day job or something, you know, you're not stressing out. You're not just, you know, online trying to get some government funding because you have other things that you can do in order to, you know, just kind of keep the bills paid, you know, just
keep you afloat in between. Absolutely.
Right.
Definitely.
Sure.
So what are some key advice that you would give, you know, up-and-coming entrepreneurs, whether they want to be a DJ, they want to, you know, start their own business, they want to do both? Like, what is some advice that you would, you know, give to some of the up-and-coming?
I say whatever you want to do, make sure you do your research, for one. You know, don't start anything, don't lift a finger, don't go registering businesses or anything like that until you've done some research and you know exactly what it is to expect, like what you're getting yourself into. You're not going to have it all figured out by any means. You know, that's almost impossible to do. But just make sure you know what you're getting in for because it's easy to get overwhelmed, especially as an entrepreneur.
Correct.
Because the amount of work that you'll realize if you didn't do your research that you're going to have to do, just the processes that take place, you know. And for me, I feel when I started this most recent business, it was mainly not necessarily because I wanted to start a moving company, because that's what it is. You know, it was to learn business. You know, I want to learn how to hire people. I want to learn how to, you know, do my taxes. You know, I want to know how to do payroll or process payments. You know, I mean, just all these aspects, because guess what? Eventually, I'm going to take those lessons and I'm going to apply it to something else in the future. You know, because I mean, I don't want to just do just this one thing forever. I'm not a mover. I'm an entrepreneur. You know, I'm a businessman, you know. And then so I say whatever it is that you want to do, just kind of focus on that and, you know, just go through the process. Don't give up. Ask questions. You know, seek mentorship. That's something that I'm still dealing with right now, trying to, you know, find mentorship because I know I don't have it all figured out. And I need somebody who's kind of been where I am to, you know, sit me down, have a conversation and kind of give me some insight on what it is that I might, you know, be possibly dealing with in the future. You know, so, I mean, take all the lessons that you've learned, apply it to future businesses. Don't give up. Failure is guaranteed, you know, so don't give up once it happens, you know, and even if ultimately, you gotta, you know, give it all up, you know, don't let that shut you down and prevent you from, you know, staying ambitious in order to create something different. You know, because you have to try and try and try before something finally, you know, sticks and something succeeds, you know, and, you know, it's really a matter of time. Another piece of advice I'd say is do things the right way. You know, do things the right way. Build a good, solid foundation. you know, so nobody can come question you. Nothing can happen where it hits the fan and everything.
So stop cutting
just
corners.
falls down. Yeah, I mean, if you're cutting corners, I mean, I understand that's. I mean, look at our president, right? You know, we're not gonna get into that, but
right.
I mean, but yeah, there's a process in place. You got to follow the process,
Definitely.
right? I mean, do things the right way. Build a solid foundation. That way, you know, you never have to worry about, you know, as soon as that wrench comes, which should happen eventually, you know, it don't all come tumbling down. So, you know, I mean, it lets you sleep better at night. I'd say that much.
Correct.
You know, that knowing that nobody can just come in and take away everything that you spent all this time, all this money, all this energy just building. So,
correct. Okay.
Yeah.
No, definitely some good advice. So before we let you go, and again, I definitely appreciate you taking time out your schedule. Let's let people know just a little bit more about, you know, who DJ Hue Holla is. So, so I heard you did some TV. You was in a couple episodes on television, huh?
A whole season, yeah.
Definitely.
On a few different shows.
Okay. Talk to us about some of those things, because, you know, I think it's dope just as far as your level of accomplishment, but you still see the need to, you know, like you say, have these other streams of income. Entrepreneurship is important to you. You're still, you know, coachable and teachable. But, you know, let's time to flex on them a little bit. You know, some of the TV shows.
A lot of those things are things that I'm not looking for. You know, I'm not a TV guy. I'm not like looking for that type of publicity, you know, if it's not directly helping my business. You know, I mean, I just kind of like fun stuff that I run into, you know, I mean, but I've done, you know, TV shows on the FYI network, you know, 7-year switch, did a whole season of that, you know, had us flying around the country doing just like different random stuff, you know. I mean, which was fun. It was correct. It was good for the time being, you know. I mean, got a good following, but the basis of the TV show was more or less relationships. Okay. You know, I'm married, you know, been married for 5.5 years now, 2 kids. So it was more about relationships. So the following that helps me build is more so stay-at-home mothers, you know, just sitting around watching FYI, binge watching TV, you know. I mean, which is cool, which is great, you know. But I'm looking for more ways to, you know, that's going to be, you know, beneficial, things that are going to be more beneficial, which, you know, DJing has, you know, I've been on Hot 97.5 FM for well over 8 years, you know, almost 9 years now. And that's just something that I enjoy. And, you know, that generates publicity from there, just being on radio, playing for the city. You know, a lot of people hitting me up while I'm live on air, just kind of showing love and letting me know they're listening and posting their radios and their dashboard on their Instagram stories and all of that. You know, that's cool. You know, I did, you know, Bad Girls Club, season 7, 8, I don't know, one of those, you know, I appeared on that, you know, a couple magazines, People Magazine, and, you know, a few local ones, a couple newspapers, you know. And then I actually just did, the most recent was American Ninja Warrior. Okay. You know, so I was on that on the season that they shot out here in Vegas. So they let me try out the obstacle, and you know, I did my thing. I actually, you know,
how far did you get through?
I didn't get far at all. Hey, look, bro. Quick story about that, right? So you go there, and compared to what you see on TV, those obstacle courses are way bigger than you would imagine, right? And consider this: they always shoot it at night, and the pools of water that they dig, they literally take a backhoe and dig it up the night before, cover it in like, you know, just plastic coating and fill it up with water, right? So one thing I didn't consider is the fact that, all right, I made it further than anybody went before me, but that's just because I was watching where they messed up, and I made sure I didn't make their mistake.
Not to do.
They taught me what not to do. It's like, all right, cool. So I got to the point to where now I got to figure it out on my own, which just happened to also be the highest point in the obstacle course, right? So, you know, it's like these big rings. You got to jump, grab one, swing to the next one. I did just that, grabbed one, swung to the next one. It's just I didn't quite get a grip on the next one when I went for it. So I'm at the highest point in the obstacle course. I'm like wearing Chuck Taylors or something, and I go straight to the bottom of this pit. And you're thinking eventually you're gonna hit the bottom, right? And you'll be able to just kind of boost yourself up. Nah, it just keeps on going. It's dark and cold, and you got sneakers on. And I didn't know whether I was even gonna survive. I closed my eyes and just kept paddling until I got some oxygen. But yeah, I mean, it was a great experience. That's it was a lot of fun. And I mean, just being able to do those kind of things, you know, it just kind of comes along with just kind of staying focused focused. You know, I say a lot of it. You know, just being a good person. You know, treating people well.
Right.
And a lot of opportunities seem to come to you in that way. So, you know, I mean, those are just a few things that, you know, just kind of comes into my life. And, you know, like I said, it's all just a blessing, really.
Absolutely, definitely. So we definitely appreciate you coming. Now, how can people follow you? How can they, you know, stay up to date with, you know, all the current things you have going on?
Right. You can always follow me on Instagram at rsdj_Hue Holla. That's rsdj_HUEHOLLA. You can follow my business page at Skyline Moving, and that's going to be on Instagram also, and the same thing with Twitter. You know, other than that, man, I mean, I'm just kind of getting content out there as much as I can, trying to continue to post, you know, things like
this. That's a job within itself.
Exactly,
Posting
man.
every day?
For sure. Oh, man, yeah, you got to wake up. Just
right. Just the
you know,
post
so I appreciate you having me on the show and everything.
Man.
This is
all mine.
Definitely beneficial to the community. You know, I hope that you can get a lot of other opportunities to get other entrepreneurs on here. So hopefully they can provide insight and the lessons that they've learned and things that, you know, I'll be all ears listening.
Appreciate
and
that.
So hopefully, you know, get a few nuggets from them also. So no, I appreciate you and everything that you're doing.
Oh, no, I appreciate you, King. So again, family, we appreciate y'all being on this journey with us. Got DJ Hue Holla. Make sure y'all go follow this King, all of the dope stuff he have going on. So we appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all all at the top. Peace.